YouTube, what is going on? We're back with another video, and today we're talking about how it's gonna happen quicker than you think. All right, but it's also gonna start out slower than you would like and be way harder than you can imagine, because I mean, this is just a little bit about what I'm going through right now, and it all comes back to how you just got to stay in the game long enough and you got to get your reps in. I probably could have made that light, but I don't want to record myself committing a felony. I don't think it's a felony, but anyway, guys, you got to stay in the game long enough to actually get your reps in, earn your stripes, and get to that point where, you know, it's actually worth it. You know, like with where I'm starting out in pool cleaning, dude, this is basically at the point of like a second job. And I only have enough clientele to cover 10 hours of work per week. Now, it is my own business. It is something that's scalable. It's something that down the line has leverage. But right now, and I started this a year ago, so actually next month will be 1 year, and I'm up to about $25,000 in yearly revenue, or I guess annual. And right now, dude, it just feels like a second job. Like this whole time I'm going, you know, and after I do the math between my expenses and gas mileage and all this stuff, right? Not sure if I mentioned this, to do the pool cleaning, pool service, maintenance, all that jazz, acid washes, everything. So when I calculate my hourly, it comes out to about $35 an hour. And that's after all my expenses. That's after, you know, everybody's been done, everybody's paid up. Every day that I do work, I do this 2 days a week, and for 10 hours, so 5 hours one day, 5 hours the next. It's basically just like a second good job. I mean, $35 an hour is pretty good, but it's not like, wow, you know, like this is making the Mega Millions sort of thing. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I always get to the point where I'm about to chase the golden goose and think the grass is greener on the other side, and every time I've been proven wrong, yet somehow I still get my eye. It still catches all that stuff. It still catches the shiny object. You get shiny object syndrome. You're gonna hop from this to this. And the reality is, like, I've only been doing this a year. I was starting out, no prior work experience doing pools, and I've built it up to this much. Like, that's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. But the thing is like, I was like, man, you know, I'm only working an extra 10 hours a week. Like, I could be doing 40, and then I could find another, you know, 6-figure job, and I could be doing 80-hour work weeks between the two, making $200,000 a year. And it's like, yeah, but then I started running my numbers, and I'm making, like I said, $35 an hour. For me to do that on a W-2 job, on top of being in that new tax bracket, when you get up to $200,000 a year, you're no longer getting taxed. I don't know what normal is, to be honest, but I know for me, I made 95 last year at my job. If I were to make another 95, I would go from getting taxed 12% to getting taxed 22%. An extra 10%, and maybe it's 24. It might be double the amount. But regardless, it's absolutely disgusting. And that is like, that's just enough to, like, bro, imagine if you had that extra 10%. You know, that we're talking tens, maybe $20,000, right? Yeah, we're literally talking, no, 20% of 200,000. We're talking 40 grand. If you could have that 40 grand invested, especially at a young age, dude, like we're talking multiple millions, okay, over the course of 20, 30 years that's getting stolen from you. And this is what got me back to the point of just like, I got to stay in the game long enough. I've been doing this a year, and whatever you're doing, if it's kind of working and like kind of pretty good, like there's times where it sucks, but like all in all, you can't complain. That's the game. All right. You got to stay in that one. If you're still at that point where you can't find anything, then you got to be playing multiple games all the time and just finding one that sticks. But, and I know what that's like. Like, I've been there where it felt like for 3 years, it took me trial and error to find something that was just going to work out. And now that I've got this is going better than anything else has ever gone by far. I mean, normally I'd be losing this much per month that I'm making if that makes sense. Like the amount that I'm making, I was normally spending that on trial and error, trying stuff. So I got all that experience and it costed me a whole bunch. But now, man, you know, it's like, I always thought when I got up to $1,000 a month, it was going to be life-changing. And now I'm at about $2,000 a month. And it's like, man, like, you know, this is awesome, but you get used to it. And I don't mean to sound ungrateful at all. I mean, I had to suffer a lot just to even get to this point. So I'm not taking this for granted at all. But yeah, guys, like, the thing is, you gotta keep going on what you're doing if it's kind of working. And then in fact, you should double down, and that's what I should be doing. There's so many things in my business right now that I know I need to be doing, I know I need to implement, and that I just need to tweak and change or get more efficient. And it's never ending. There's never a point where you're just like, okay, like it's good, and you could just like be hands off. We got a long time before that comes, you know, but I was weighing out so many different options and just getting another like good paying job. Number one, I don't have a college degree, and I think they're pointless for the most part. But I mean, even if you want a consistent high paying job like that, they are damn hard to find. And then being able to juggle the two, like it's not a Chipotle, you know. You can't just like be flexible and like treat it like whatever. Like, this is a pretty serious position. You're making $100K a year. So the thing is, with your own business and whatever you're doing, it can be on your timeline. It can be flexible to you. You still have that control to where you can get things and make it work for you, you know. And it might have some bumps in the road and hiccups, but all in all, you can't complain, man. It's a good thing. So if you needed some motivation to just stick with what you're doing and stay in the game, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, is do not just give up. Because let's pretend I stopped doing pools. Dude, I'd be miserable. Just eat, sleep, work, and repeat. You know, and I guess that's a little bit what I'm doing now, but at least with this extra income, it really feels like I'm moving the needle, and I can scale it up and get to even more of a point where I'm really moving the needle, and I can get leverage in a few years once I have the traffic. And it takes time to build, but that's all about staying in the game. You know, nobody ever strikes out of the park. Every business sucks when you start it. And if you think whatever you're about to get into doesn't suck, you just don't know enough about it. Because I promise you, it sucks 100% of the time. It is a lot of work. It's going to take longer. Like, the learning curve is going to take longer. It's going to be difficult, bro. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be harder in the beginning, and then it'll all happen faster than you think. That's where everybody seems to be an overnight success, but they've really put in a decade, 10 years of work. Like, you're telling me I'm getting these second thoughts and I'm only a year in? Like, I got to get that crap out of my head. And once I really broke down my numbers, that made a complete 180 for me. I know that this is what I'm doing. This is the game I'm in, and I just got to stick it out. So if you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe. I appreciate the love on the channel. I'm starting to get some more thumbs up. And yeah, man, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.